Well, good morning. It is Monday, May 14th, and here we are taking a few minutes to contemplate some of the principles of prosperity. And what I've been using, hi, my name is Alan Vukas, and I'm so glad that you can join me for this. What I started last week, and I'm going to be continuing for the next several weeks, probably at least the next 9 weeks, Monday through Friday, is taking some time every morning to explore some of the principles as it is expressed by Wattles in his book, The Science of Getting Rich. And also taking some time to unpack some of the principles, some of the ideas that jump out at me, and then also taking a few minutes to anchor that in affirmative prayer. And what I mean by anchor that, I mean as far as to really take that deep, to affirm it, to know it, to embody it, for me and for you. And this is actually a spiritual practice that in my faith tradition we refer to as spiritual mind treatment. Just like a water treatment system for your home, you condition the water so that it has the quality and the nature, and expresses the nature that you're seeking. And it's the same way by consciousness we can treat our minds through the words and the thoughts that we think, even the actions we take. We can create conditions in our consciousness so that it begins to take on or express the qualities that we're seeking. And what are we seeking? We're seeking a prosperity consciousness. I started a class last week called Prosperity Plus. It's Mary Morrissey delivers the material. It's a video class where she does most of the material in classes done through her videos. And in her video last week, she was talking about this, about developing the consciousness. That all of these things that we do, it is really, and what do we mean by consciousness? It has to do with our awareness. It has to do with the vibration or the energy that we're radiating. Consciousness is the sum total of all of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, everything up to this moment right now. Your consciousness is sort of like the atmosphere, the sum total of all of that. And it's greater than just the sum of its parts. But if we're tuned into lack, if we're tuned into not enough, if we're very aware of the darkness. I saw a movie this weekend, A Wrinkle in Time. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good movie. It's definitely for a younger audience, but it was one of my favorite books when I was growing up. And there in that movie, there was an illustration of these principles, that what we give our attention to, that's what we're inviting into our lives. That is the direction in which we're moving. So if we're giving our attention to not enough time, not enough energy, not enough love, not enough power, not enough vitality, not enough strength, not enough opportunities, not enough networking, or contacts, all of that. That is definitely, when we're tuned into that, then what do you think we're going to be seeing? Just like if you're tuned into HGTV on Comcast or on Dish or whatever your provider is, if you're tuned into that vibration, then that is what you begin to see evident in your life. So all this talk about prosperity consciousness, the science of getting rich, is really about us tuning into and tuning the dial into a different vibration, by us becoming aware of it, by us noticing it, by us practicing it. It's all by right of consciousness that we demonstrate the good in our lives. So let me just say, I wanted to take a moment to take a look at chapter, I believe this is chapter 1. I'm just going on to the next one. There is a science to getting rich. This is actually chapter 2. Chapter 2, and there's the science of getting rich. There is a science of getting rich. And what he explains in here, right in the very first paragraph, there is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science, like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches. Once these laws are learned and obeyed by any man or woman, they will get rich with mathematical certainty. There's a science. It's an exact science, like algebra or arithmetic. This is an interesting idea. So for a child who knows how to add, for example, 1 plus 1, and that's the only way they know how to do their math. It doesn't mean that just because they only know how to do it that way, that that's the only way, and then therefore is no solution to the problem. If there's a problem, let's say a child only knows how to do addition. You know, a kindergartner learning 1 plus 1 and 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then we present a math problem, an arithmetic problem that isn't addition. Actually, it's multiplication. And that little plus sign, we turn it on its side. And now it's an X. And we present it to this child and say, here, what is the answer to this problem? What's the solution to this problem? And the child goes, oh, well, there isn't one. That's not a plus sign. This is not math. In our own lives, we may be approaching what may feel like lack or limitation and say there is no solution, but there is. There is a science to getting rich. And as we're using the word rich here, this is talking about us having everything necessary for us to live a life of full expression of our talents and expression of our nature in the world, bringing all of our gifts into the world and being of service. Everything we need in order to do that, to me, that is prosperity. That is rich. But he says the ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in this certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, get rich, while those who do not do things in this certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, remain poor. So as he talks about this, so for a child, regardless, there is a solution to the math problem that may be in our lives, the flow problem, the substance problem. But we may have been operating at a frequency or without the awareness to step into that next level of our becoming. This is why we contemplate these principles. This is why we study things like this in order not to, we don't berate a child for wanting to learn more advanced mathematics, do we? Why do sometimes we go, oh, the people who are caught up in prosperity consciousness or about getting rich. No, they're trying to operate at a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness. He explains in here that doing these things in a certain way are not dependent on our environment. They're not dependent on our talents. Doing things in a certain way or getting the results isn't even dependent on saving. It's doing things in a certain way. And if anyone else can get rich in your town or around you or have flow and prosperity in their life, it's because they've done things in a certain way. If you were to come home and your lights weren't on, and you went to go flip the switch, you walked in your house and the house was dark and you went and flipped the switch and the lights didn't come on, you wouldn't immediately start berating yourself and saying, oh my, I'm not spiritual enough. If I had only meditated this morning, maybe I might have lights in my life. Or if I only was good enough, or maybe the universe is trying to tell me something. The neighbors, they have light, but I don't have light. So maybe it isn't meant for me to have light. No, it doesn't. The laws of the universe don't work that way. It's not about worth. It's not about trying to earn your way. We've already ruled that out. You deserve all of this because life itself is what is animating you. And so life is already claiming and is open to what is available within itself. So then what's our part in that? That it's about us doing things in a certain way. And we're going to be unpacking that, especially this week and over the next upcoming weeks. But what is that certain way? A certain way is about it all has to do with consciousness. It's not about the things outside of you. So let's go ahead and take this to prayer, because what I know in all of this, because if there is a science to it, that means that you and me, that it is available to me. There is no problem that math problem that can't be solved within, I'm talking about solvable math problems. We know that there are those outside of the realm. There might be some puzzles that mathematicians do, but I'm talking about those of us who are trying to get through the world and do our living in the world. Not sitting there contemplating math, but those who are specifically seeking to live their lives and fully express. What I know right now is that there is nothing outside of you that has decided that you can't have whatever it is you need in order to be, do, or want what life is calling you to be, do, or want. If you do things in a certain way, then it's automatic. It is a law of the universe. There is a science and a law to getting rich, and we're going to be taking a look at that and how to do that exactly. So let's go ahead and take that to prayer this morning. I know that you have the means, that life didn't put you here just to kick you to the curb, that you have the means and the ability in order to do those things in a certain way. And while maybe you're facing a problem in your life or a challenge or an experience of lack or limitation, all it is this maybe the plus sign. Maybe you're not recognizing that it was just turned on its side. There are principles to help you move through that, and not just help you move through that, but to eliminate it, because there is no law in divine mind to support lack. The universe only knows abundance. And that's what we're going to join together and know this morning. So if you're in a place where you can get comfortable in your seat and allow your eyes to gently close, or if you're just listening to the sound of my voice as you're going about your day or your morning here, going about your business, or watching this on the screen, I just invite you to get still and quiet right now. And you may have noticed that sometimes I speak in the first person. And so as I speak in the first person, I'm going to do that here this morning. And just claim that for yourself. Just allow it to be your own inner dialogue, your own inner narrative. Because as I know the truth, I know it for me and for you. And there's only one here. So here on this Monday morning, what I recognize and know is that there is only one life. As I look around this room, as I look around and I see outside the window and I see the world that is moving by, what I know is that truly there is only one power and one presence and one life that is animating all of this. Now you may wonder, where's the logic come from that? Well, in the beginning, what we know is but the Big Bang. Before there was anything, there was no thing. There was just empty space. There was nothing. And then from this nothingness emerged this explosion. At least this is what science tells us. And so from what I know right here and now, is that you and I, that we emerged, we were part of that emergence, we were part of that bang, life seeking in a powerful way to express throughout the universe. And all that it had to make us out of was itself. And so what I know here this morning is that I am part of that divine substance. The divine life is that which is animating me. It is the power back of my breath. It is the power that's animating my heart. And this is true for each and every person who hears this, that watches this, each and every person in my consciousness and in my world. I know that what is true for me is true for them as well. And so this truth that I speak for myself here, I know that it is also the truth for each and every individual who is open this morning to receive the good that's already ours. And so what I declare and know as the truth here is that there is a science, there is that this divine mind that is making everything happen, that is causing my heart to beat, that is causing my eyes to blink and my lungs to take in air, the inspiration, the respiration, the flow in my life. What I know it is not myself with the little self that is making this happen, but is the greater self that is part of divine mind that is making this happen. And the truth of that life, the truth of my life, the truth of this one life, the truth of our life is there is no lack or limitation. There is divine flow that is present right here and now, and what I accept for myself and for each and every individual who joins in this affirmative prayer with me this morning. What I know is that science of getting rich, it is unfolding at each and every moment. What I accept and declare right here and now is that in that divine mind, it already knows the certain way in which to act. It knows the science by which to experience unlimited abundance, unlimited prosperity in each and every area of its life, of my life. And so what I know right here and now, for everyone watching and for myself, the truth is that life that is within us, it knows the certain way, which is not dependent on environment, which is not dependent on saving. It's not dependent on external attempts to manipulate and control what's alive within us and what's alive and moving us into that certain way of getting rich right here in this moment and moving forward. What's alive right now, it is consciousness. And what's in my consciousness and what's in your consciousness is the consciousness of divine mind, and it knows that there is no lack, there is no limitation, there is no law to support that. What is present right here and now is the knowingness of unlimited abundance, opportunities, friendships, health, harmony, well-being. Every good thing already exists, not just as a potential and possibility, but it is a truth that is alive right now. And so I accept for myself and for each one as I move throughout this day. I know that I am guided and led and directed. I am impelled and compelled into right action because there are no mistakes in the science. It is unfolding perfectly, effortlessly, easily. And as a result of it, I know that the results, the effects of doing things in a certain way, it's scientific. It shows up without delay. So I accept this truth for myself and for everyone that effect, that the body of good and every good thing, the rich, which is the effect, the riches, the abundance, it is already mine. It is already yours because it is God's, and it is alive here this morning. It is alive and seeking to expand in ways I've never had. And so I release any fear. I release any attitude that I need to control it. Life is in charge. And so I joyfully express my appreciation and gratitude today. My gratitude that I have the ability to know within myself that I am one with that power, and that power is the source and substance of all that there is. And that is the truth of my life here today, and it's the truth of your life too. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in our video. Tomorrow morning is Tuesday, and I have an 8 o'clock appointment then. So it may be a little later. It's going to be a little later in the morning. Don't worry. Check out on the rebroadcast. Come back a little later and check out the message for the day. We're going to be continuing into our exploration of the science of getting rich. So I'm holding the best for you today. Just continuing to know your highest and best. Peace and love. Namaste.